What's up, YouTubers? Today we're going to talk about the ZT Zero Tolerance 0640 model. This is an Ernest Emerson design. Specifically, we're going to be talking about the USA made blade, customized edition with the anodized titanium and these custom overlays, the LMF overlays that come with it. So we'll jump into that. I first want to get three things out of the way on this particular knife. One is that this knife in its base model does come with these carbon fiber scales that kind of look like baby diaper green or baby food green. They're just positively ugly, and I would actually refer you to the Kevin Cleary review on this knife, which I really was kind of what sank me in on this, or really set me in on pursuing this model when I found it on the USMA blade, because they take care of really one of the problems out of the gate. The other one that I'm going to talk about from the outset is the pocket clip is actually positively non-functional for two purposes, and I'll go ahead and intercut that in right now, because this pocket clip is actually unusable. There's not enough bill there to even get on my pants. I tried on 2 or 3 pairs of pants, so I just wanted to show this in advance. This is obviously going to be one of the cons of this knife. I'm going to go ahead and bend this clip accordingly as it is necessary to utilize it, and then I will come back for a review of this particular knife. I just wanted to go ahead and get that out there to show that this was the unadulterated clip. I did have to make a modification to this. The pocket clip is now perfectly usable and does not interfere with the ergonomics at all. So in that sense, you do have to take care of this pocket clip to make it actually usable for a carry knife. In that sense, I actually love it now. So not a problem there. And then the last thing I want to talk about is as far as the USA made blade model goes. And actually that's, I can go and give a plug here right now. This is not paid for or anything. I just I love Whitty over there at USA Made Blade, and this model is for $8. That's all it was. $8 additional over the base model. You get these custom overlays of my green micarta. This particular one is green micarta, and then also the bronze anodizing of the titanium. So it's absolutely beautiful, and boy, just an amazing job, an amazing deal, really, over there for that. And it really takes care of some of the problems of this knife. Right out of the box. So wanted to get those things out of the way. Like I said, I've already cut that original in. In terms of like some larger pointy comparison knives, the ones that I kind of thought of, kind of on the lower budget end, there's the Dagger Knives Sting, which is these knives all have in excess of 3.75-inch blades. This one's a 4-inch blade, the Dagger Knives. We'll go ahead and move that one out of there. And that's a relatively inexpensive one, closer to $70. The Spyderco Native Chief. This one has a full 4-inch blade, so you'll notice it's actually even a 1/4 inch longer than this one. And then another one I thought about was the Gale Bradley too. Not necessarily in terms of the blade specifically, but in terms of carry profile. You're going to see that the Gale Bradley 2 from Spyderco is pretty similar in size on this to this particular ZT 0640. So those might be some alternatives. The Spyderco, this one, I think this is the Rex 45 one. It was like $175. Gale Bradley was like $200, I want to say, pretty close to that. I'm not sure. It might not even be in production, but there's plenty of these out there if you want to get it on the secondary market. Probably with really no markup. In fact, some sort of drop on that price maybe. It just wasn't a super popular model. This particular knife cost $258. Again, just $8 more than the standard edition. And it has a 3.75-inch blade. I weighed it in at 4.4 ounces. It utilizes a thumb disc deployment. And at first, this is the first thumb disc deployer that I had that I'd owned. And at first, it was kind of tough to get used to. But once I did, and you'll notice one of the things that will kind of jump into a pro early, and I won't cover this later, is that it has some nice little jimping or texturing there on that thumb disc. So, and we'll demonstrate that with gloves on in just a little bit. Is that an expensive price for this knife? I do not think it is, given the fact that it has 20 CV steel, is made of titanium, and has these nice overlays. The design of this is really, really very useful. Actually, one last thing I'll go ahead and demonstrate is this just joined my League of Knives that actually stand on their end. I only have like 5 or 6 knives that actually will stand on one end, like the Wee Banter, a few of those that have a square flat face up here, and this particular one does. So that's kind of an interesting, more of a novelty than anything. Let's jump into the pros. The thumb disc deployment on this thing is very fun and fidgety, both with thumb. Oh, I failed it on that one, but it does work well as a backside. You just got to kind of practice it a little bit, but it will do the backside Spidey flick as well. You know, and I actually found left-handed, this thing works great too. The fact that it has these overlays, really there's no problems with anything getting on the, really putting pressure on the detent there. So left-handed, it's great. It does provide actually a left-handed tip or pocket clip carry as well. So that's a great thing. As far as with gloves goes, I actually found that the thumb disc works really well, not only with the gloves themselves for deployment, but the thumb disc really provides a nice little flat surface there for, you know, utilizing this with gloves on, and I really like that. And also, again, the fact that it has those overlays there, it really allows you, and they have a nice little scallop to cut out that gives you good access to that. So, yeah, as far as a deployer in gloves, this one's great one-handed. So really like that. Phosphor bronze washers, this is not on bearings. You know, unlike many zero tolerance knives where they're just going for action, this one has amazing action just through, I think, a well-designed, well-tuned, this thing is perfectly centered, by the way, and it has a great action, especially after you use this thing for 2 weeks. I have been. Absolutely love it. Obviously, you can tell where I'm going with this thing. The blade robustness is very fantastic. You can see that it's a nice, strong tip there. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and bring out some other knives in terms of like just comparisons and things that it made me think of. So this is the Hinder XM18 Skinny, and you can see that those tips, did I get that right? Yeah. Those tips are pretty similar in terms of robustness. This is the Harpoon Spanto, and I definitely found that it had the tip strength and robustness of the Hinder XM18 Skinny. So that's not a bad thing there. You know, the carry profile was also quite nice. It is a little bit thick in the pocket. It's just about a ½ inch this way. But in terms of the height of this knife, it literally carries like the bug out. You know, it's just a smidge longer. But if you take a look at the bug out right on top of that thing, it just has that little bit of extra. And that's actually sitting outside the pocket because it is not a deep carry pocket clip, which I don't mind. I'd like it to be up a little bit higher. Maybe they could have integrated the top screw of that one with the overlay. I don't know. But, you know, that might be one of the drawbacks, but I don't mind having a little bit just to pull that out, especially if you are using gloves or anything like that. So, you know, in terms of that great thing, the carry. Also, I did want to actually demonstrate one other knife. Is that this is a knife that I often use with gloves, with the Axis lock or the Able lock, is the Hogue Ritter RSK MK1, and it works really well. And this is kind of one of my standards, this one or a button lock, in terms of a knife with gloves. But again, the 0640 did marvelously well. So very, very pleased with that. The scale overlays, another great pro of this thing. It provides not only some hand contouring, you'll see that the way that kind of you have some chamfering down on the titanium, it kind of goes right into the scales, and it provides for amazing contouring for your hand. So just very, very good. And that was actually true even with these really ugly scales that came with it. They had a nice, they do have a nice feel to it as well. But again, you're getting the great micarta, which is great with oils, and or if it gets wet, add in wet and oils with you know, phosphor bronze and getting gunk in there. This knife serves a lot of purposes. It absolutely cut all sorts of stuff just fine. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and intercut in. Speaking of the tip strength here, I will go ahead and intercut in here just a quick clip that I did, just basically breaking a chicken down the middle entirely, and this tip was just absolutely perfect for that. So I'll go ahead and do that, and then I'll put that in here. And here we go. We're going to go right down. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's butterfly this thing right down the middle. The 0640 can do chicken. Also, going back to the scale overlays, they provide for an over travel stop, so that when you're putting the knife back, you know, it just you have protection built right in there for your lock. So when you push back, you're not going to over travel there. As well as there's no detent problems on deployment. That's actually a really good thing too. It is, you know, it's great because you don't, especially like left-handed or whatever, or, you know, right-handed, you don't have any problems getting your hand on and really blocking deployment of that. So it's fantastic. One of the other things I did want to demonstrate, I just kind of played with this little top thing here. Actually, I'll see if I can do it. Yeah, you can actually use it as an additional fidget factor. I did find that that thing actually kind of worked as a top deployer as well. And I don't know if that's by design or not, but I'm telling you, this thing, once you just handle it for 2 weeks and really work it in, absolutely amazing fidgetiness, and I just really love that on there. The jimping on this knife is very good. Again, going back to handling this thing with both with gloves and without, it has it right really where you want. If I would maybe choose to have any additional, it might be on this back side, but on the top here where your thumb is, provides really good. You can move forward on that one. There is a little bit of a little bit, but if you kind of put that thing there, not a problem. Again, you can find, oh gosh, man, this thing, just every position you need, you know, pull cuts, there's not a bad position, and yet you do have this flaring up there to, you know, to provide somewhat of a guard capability versus just an entirely square neutral frame. So I just absolutely love it. The ergonomics are fantastic for any position. In terms of the cons, I've already talked about the two, really. The base model has the ugly scales here, but this USA Made Blade Edition has the green micarta that comes with it. You're getting like $35 to $60 of value there for $8, and they're putting a beautiful bronze anodizing on this one. You can see, actually, yeah, you can see all the fuzz and stuff I got in there. So that's one thing where it will pick up a lot of fuzz with this open back construction. Have no problems with that, especially given the fact that it has washers instead of bearings in there. So what was I talking about? Oh yeah, they do actually sell this also with a blue anodizing and a black scales, as well as like this bronze with a black scales. So any one of them is great, and it really overcomes the problem. I actually think the blue one with the black provides actually a very good gentlemanly look too, and given the fact this is kind of a slim knife, is really good. You know, so I can't say enough good things about this edition. I will say they are out now, but I talked to Woody a couple days ago, and they're going to be getting some more of these in. These definitely sold like hotcakes, and for those of you that haven't had a chance but are looking for a $258 knife, this is an absolute value given the materials, the build quality, the robustness, the capabilities. You know, like I said, this is not going to be a super apple slicer just because it is a little bit thick blade stock, a little bit thicker behind the edge, but very functional. I mean, I can go ahead and, you know what, let me go ahead and just put in I'll just do a little quick cork test here. Oh, missed it there. But unlike some of my other models where it actually starts to split it, I can actually cut this so nice and thin. It started to break it a little bit as it got a little bit deeper. But, you know, some knives, like the SR1, obviously after about a quarter inch, the thing just doesn't even, you know, it just literally splits it apart. So, yeah, is this going to be apple slicer? No. That'd definitely be one of the cons on this. And really, other than the other two things I mentioned, the con on this is, I hate to say it, but it's going to be state and provincial laws that don't allow you to carry beyond a 3.5-inch blade. This is 3.75-inch blade. You know, oh, here, I did bring one of these out. And I wanted to show an example of a knife that, you know, would you rather be confronted with somebody carrying this, or, you know, that knife would be illegal in a place that 3.5-inch knife is illegal, but this one's perfectly legal. This is actually a 3.25-inch blade. This is the Cold Steel Tiger Claw. And this is, you know, would I be more fearful of somebody carrying that or this? Obviously, depending on their intent, you know, 100% on their intent. You know, in a fight, I'd rather choose that one, and that would be the legal one that I could carry. And this one, you know, in a state that's has a maximum of 3.5-inch, I could not. So, you know, I'd call that actually not a problem with this knife, but really maybe if they could design just a little bit shorter one to get that down to 3.5-inch, that might really make it an absolute rock star. I know this is going a little bit long, not growing, could be growing long too. Final thoughts on this knife are it is an absolute champion. What I thought about is, again, it was really the Kevin Cleary review, and I'll link that below, that just made me take a closer look at this knife. And then I looked at those overlays, and they were just awful. I'll go ahead and put that out here so you can kind of see the two together. And when I saw this one from the USA Made Blade and the anodizing that they do at $8 of price, and I think you're getting $50, $60 of value, it was a no-brainer. And this is an absolute, I mean, this is a total treasure out there for the price, especially. So for me, the other thing is, though it doesn't have a hollow grind like a lot of Chris Reeve knives, I think this is very similarly sized to the Umnumzan. Plus, you can't get a hold of the Umnumzan, and that's over $500 or $500 knife. And so for me, this, for $258, is just an absolute champion, and I couldn't even recommend this. I can't think of many knives that I will recommend over this in this price range, the $250, depending on, you know, what people's capability and local laws allow. So hope you did enjoy this. If you did, go ahead and hit like and subscribe, and have a great day for yourselves. Take care now. Bye.